Welcome back to Poetry and Police. As usual, big up all my subscribers, all the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Yes, this morning, what I need to talk about this morning, really need to talk about, is Jamaica's hold on crime and violence and the efforts by the police department, by the government, especially the Ministry of National Security, and efforts by the community itself. Are people seeing their civic duty as important as their way of life? No, we have a new commissioner of police. Well, I wouldn't say new. We have the sitting commissioner of police, Dr. Blake. Understand? And Dr. Blake is, what I seem to notice is that this administration is always showing off about reduction in crime. And Dr. Kevin Blake is saying that crime is down 17.3% in murders and 13.5% reduction in major crimes overall. Right, people? No. Does Jamaica look like we're having a reduction in crime? Sometimes, Mr. Blake, and it's not the statistics, it's the looks. And if we are fools if we say that looks does not play a part. Jamaica at this moment in time does not appear to be having any kind of reduction in crime and violence. As a matter of fact, the violence of our society is stepping up. And even though you might say, sir, statistically, that we have a reduction in crime, especially murder, as you say, 17.3% reduction. As far as I'm concerned, that is not even nothing. We need to have at least a 25% or more reduction in crime to say, yes, we are finally doing something. Now, you see, you are going to say that every single major crime, there's a reduction in every single major crime. It doesn't seem so to me. And I know that most police officers will agree with me when they say, it is not visual, Mr. Blake. It is not visual. We are not seeing that reduction. All right. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt when you say that statistically, on paper, we have reduction in crime. Right? You see, and they are saying that it is a milestone. A milestone? You really come out and say it's a milestone? There's no milestone in 17.3% reduction in crime, Mr. Blake. There's no milestone there. And you went on to talk about fighting crime is a collective effort. I have been saying that for years, that fighting crime in Jamaica, a Jamaica where the criminals are not in control, has to be a collective measure. When I say collective measure, I'm not just talking about the police department alone, but I am talking about government. And when I say government, I mean government in facilitating and assisting the police with all the tools necessary to fight crime. That is the government's role. And when I say the commissioner of police, now the commissioner of police, your collective effort is to make sure that you delegate the right persons for the job and that you promote the right persons who you believe that can carry out the duties, my friend. And as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Blake, I thought that would have changed. But that has not changed. Because the force is still run by cliquism. The force is still run by cliques and people in high power, people who are promoting their friends, Mr. Blake. So when you are going to talk about collective effort, let us change that to selective effort. Because what is going on in Jamaica Constabulary Force is not collective effort, it is selective effort. I will repeat that again for police officers and even the people of Jamaica. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, in the bid of fighting crime, we are approaching crime with that selective effort. Now, let me explain what I mean by selective effort. Is that you are selecting people based off a clique and popularity to put in certain positions to fight crime, and people who are not even qualified physically to fight these crimes. When I say physically, I mean people who does not have the experience in the area. And when I say speak, I would take, let me give you an example, Bridget. Let me give you an example. I thought you were a different commissioner, Mr. Blake. But I will ask you this question, and I'm going to ask the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force this question. How on earth is Stuart in charge of crime in Jamaica? Is Stuart a crime fighter? How on earth have you replaced the replacement of Fitzbailey to be Stuart? Stuart and nobody. Stuart is a politician, brethren. So your politician friend you put in at the position. Because Stuart don't know nothing about fighting crime. If thief broke in a Stuart house, he wouldn't even know what to do. Even if Stuart have a gun, he wouldn't even fire it. To defend himself. I am telling you, that is how lame Stuart is. So how on earth with good police, hard-working police officers who accept Stuart as the crime chief in Jamaica? The crime chief? An idiot who don't know him foot from his hand, who claim that he's a administrative mongrel, and the administration of the Jamaica Constabulary Force is in disarray. This is the man that is in charge of crime. God, listen, God help us. God help us. Commissioner Blake, these are your words, Crime trends are not static. And while the police play a crucial role in managing crime, the broader ecosystem of public safety extends beyond law enforcement. Yes, we know that long time. That people in Jamaica needs to play a role in the fighting against crime. I have been saying that from time immemorial. That the Jamaican people has to start playing their civic role as it relates to crime and violence in Jamaica. We must divert from the opinion, see no evil, do no evil, no honor my business, inform of the dead, and all these little things, tattletale for dead, and all these little things Jamaican people need to move away from and move into a collective measure to saying that crime and violence in Jamaica is just not the police business alone, but it's also the people's business. But how are you going to make crime and violence the people's business, Mr. Blake? The Prime Minister is not doing that. You as the Commissioner of Police has to do that to your officers. And you have said that crime is a collective measure. But are you operating in that fashion? Because if crime is a collective measure, that means when it comes to promoting the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, it should also be a collective measure and not a selective measure. Because the people that you are selecting to put in certain areas and put into certain positions, most of them do not know them foot on their hand. And Stuart is a perfect example, and you have made the biggest mistake in your life. But guess what? Honor your decision that, Mr. Blake, we know that. Because down to the baby palm breast, no say Stuart a big politician. And Stuart went to school with Andrew Holness, and Stuart and Andrew Holness a big friend. And that is where it is coming from. And you have no control over that, Mr. Blake. And if you have no control over that, then you have no control of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, sir. You have no control over the Jamaica Constabulary Force, sir. That is all I am saying to you. Because there's no way on earth as a commissioner of police who have knowledge of crime and violence and who have knowledge of how and who have any experience in fighting crime and violence in a country would put Stuart in a position, a crime fighting position in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Stuart is not even fit to run the administrative department of the Jamaica Constabulary Force because he runs it from a political point of view. Stuart has destroyed the Jamaica Constabulary Force administratively. Police officers have retired and have been suffering because of Stuart. Police officers who are serving have been suffering because of Stuart. Police officers are not being promoted after hard work because of Stuart. So therefore, it is safe to say that Stuart will not have the support of the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Hence, that man should never sit in the office of crime officer in the Jamaica Constabulary Force, sir. So when you say collectively, let's move that, like I said before, to selectively. You cannot selectively fight crime, Mr. Blake. You see, crime is a reflection of a deeper social, economic, and cultural issues that require holistic multi-agency approach. It's a multi-agency. They look at even the DC is involved in the fighting of crime. You are talking about, you are challenging the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to think outwards beyond their regular duties, their immediate duties, Mr. Blake. That is what you're asking members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to do. Think around the scope of their immediate duties. Now, if you continue to promote some little man when I walk, some little pencil pushers, so little man who know the first thing about fighting crime, then if you are sending a man to be in charge of crime, a man who has never even committed an arrest in his whole entire career, a man who don't know the first step in fighting crime, what kind of respect are you going to get from the members of the hard working crime fighters in the Jamaica Constabulary Force if you send a fool to lead them? Or if you send a politician to lead them? The members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force are not going to support Stuart because the man is a politician. And the man hates police as far as I'm concerned. So when you are talking about police need to act beyond the normal scope of their duties, Mr. Blake, police have been doing that for decades. Hard-working crime fighters has been doing that for decades. But when you are talking about that, you should also talk about the fact that these are the people who are not being promoted. These are the people who act outside of the regular scope of their duties. These are the people who are getting into trouble. These are the people who are being charged for murders. These are the people who are on suspension. These are the people who cannot even feed their families, Mr. Blake. That is what you need to understand. And these are the people who are not being promoted, Mr. Blake. So when you want to talk about a man need to act out of the scope of his regular duties, you need to also think about the fact that these men need promotion also. Because you have hard-working police officers in the Jamaica Constabulary Force that I was one of those. What did I get? What was my reward, Mr. Blake? What was my reward for all that hard work and dedication and working beyond just my regular duties? You're talking about rethink our role in crime prevention. That every citizen should get themselves involved in crime prevention. Lord Jesus, Mr. Blake. Then when you are saying that now, no same thing that we are talking about long time. The issue is, how are you going to get people to be involved in crime fighting? When people look around and them see police officers in their communities working them soul case off and not being promoted. That is what I said to you, Mr. Blake. So if you are not taking care of your own police officers, the people of Jamaica will have no confidence in you. I am telling you that straight up. The fight against crime is ongoing. And it is one that requires all hands on deck. As citizens, we must resist the temptation to view crime as solely as police problem. Instead, we must see ourselves as partners in building a safer Jamaica. No, yeah, Mr. Blake, that is all well and good. It is only through this unified way of thinking and the acceptance of shared responsibility that we will become more effective in tackling the crime and violence that challenges Jamaica. Lord Jesus. Mr. Blake, there's a saying, that one should clean their house first before they clean other people's house. There's also a saying that if your dog out the road is the dog or your children is a reflection of you. Now, if people see a police officer in their neighborhood working off him soul case, and that man is not being promoted, and sometimes they send other people to replace that man that is not even qualified as that man, and not even a hard worker like that man, what do you think people is going to think? And when police officers in the Jamaica Constabulary Force have been feeling the pangs of Mr. Stuart for years, because he has been using, Mr. Stuart has politicized the admin department of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and use it for his own interest, for his own political interest, and use it to promote whosoever he wants to promote, and use it to get rid of who he wants to get rid of and dismiss he wants to get rid of. And now this is the man that you have put in charge of crime to replace Mr. Fitzbailey. This man cannot even clean the dirt off of Fitzbailey's shoes. So you are telling me that in Jamaica you could not find a hardcore, a better crime fighter? Well, not better. You could not find a crime fighter, Bridget? You send for a pencil pusher? A man who claims that he's the best at admin, and yet the administrative department of the Jamaica Constabulary Force is in disarray? A man who hid policemen's file and sabotage policemen's pension and sabotage police officers' promotions and their placements. This is the man that you could find to put in the position of crime chief in Jamaica to replace the great. It's like you sent a rabbit to replace the lion. Because Fitzbailey was a lion, brethren, and now you have sent a rabbit to replace Fitzbailey. Then what is the difference between a lion and a rabbit? A lion run things, a rabbit run away from things. A rabbit runs away from things. And that is what you have done. And then you come out with your big mouth to come talk about crime is a this and crime is a that, and crime is a community effort, and crime is a collective effort. When you yourself and the people around you are selecting idiots to run the Jamaica Constabulary Force, are selecting idiots to put in positions where that they're not even capable of handling. Now Stuart was played at Huntsby some time ago. What has he done for Huntsby really? Go there and him put on 2 little tile pan floor. What else? There was not a reduction in crime at Huntsby when Stuart went there. Police get more trouble. And police pension were cut. And police were dismissed. That's the only thing that Stuart does. And he's as corrupted as they come. I went to St. Andrew South and all he was about is filling his pockets with money. That is what he was all about. You understand me? Let the record show. So, I believe you're a good man, Mr. Blake. And I believe that it was not even up to you or your decision to put Stuart in such a delicate area. Such a area that requires stealth, that requires a whole lot of work, that requires a whole lot of experience, which Stuart has none. You understand me? Stuart is not a crime fighter, brethren. So you are telling me that you could not find a crime fighter to put as crime chief in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Is this what the Jamaica Constabulary Force has come to, that we are out of crime fighters? You are telling me that we are out of crime fighters, Mr. Blake? That you have to send a rabbit to do the job of a lion? Stuart seems to be running the Jamaica Constabulary Force and not you. And like I've said before, that Stuart is good friends with the great Andrew Holness. And they went to school together. So I guess it's as a result of that you have no control of where Mr. Stuart goes. Understand? He cannot even control himself, much less to control crime in Jamaica. Crime in Jamaica has been slipping away from us for ages now. And you're not the first crime commissioner of police to fail, Mr. Blake. But you should have been the first commissioner of police at this day and age to at least do better. You have said that based off that of the statistics, the 17.3% reduction in murders and 13.5% reduction in all major crime overall, that it is a milestone that we should celebrate. But you have also said we should also reflect. So let us reflect, Mr. Blake. Reflect just for the past year. What has happened in Jamaica in terms of murders and crime and violence. It is one of the worst years in Jamaica when you reflect visually, Mr. Blake. Not everybody understands statistics, Mr. Blake. People understand visuality. People understand what they are seeing. I myself understand statistics, but I don't even believe in the statistics based off of my knowledge of the profession. Because all these reductions in crime maybe is not even possible. It is maybe not even that amount. Because people fix books to look good. And this administration run by Andrew Holness has been fixing the books from he who has been in power to make Jamaica appear as if we having reduction in crime and violence, which we do not. And every police in a regular area can get up and stand up and jump up and talk the things them say, no, we're not seeing a reduction. You talk to a man from Unspear now, what kind of reduction we see Unspear? None! I know I messed up. Who never messed up? Hands in the air. No hands. Everybody messed up, Mr. Blake. You have just messed up. Alright, let's move on. Remove Stuart from the crime position. That is what you need to do. He's not capable. He's not capable. He's culpable. He's not capable. He's not experienced enough. He's not a lion. He's a rabbit. He's not a crime fighter. He's a pencil pusher. He claims that he's an admin mongrel. He's the best at admin. Yet the Jamaica Constable's administrative department is in disarray. He has not fixed anything, Mr. Blake. He has destroyed the administration department more. And this is the person that the Jamaica Constable seems to be elevating. So that's why I say it's not a collective effort, Mr. Blake. It's a selective effort. Because the real crime fighters in Jamaica are not being moved. They are not being pushed. They are not being promoted. They're not... Trust me. Where are the real crime fighters, Mr. Blake? I have not seen any real crime fighter be promoted or being put in positions which they are capable of handling. I'm not seeing that. But you know what? To each his own. You see, our politicians do not care about crime and violence in Jamaica or the reduction of crime and violence in Jamaica. Because to reduce crime in Jamaica is to reduce the contract of their big, rich friends who own security companies. Crime pays, Mr. Blake. Who benefits? You need to tell the Jamaican people if you are benefiting from the operations of crime. Because you must be. If you choose an idiot as crime officer. Why? You couldn't wait for Mr. Bailey left, eh? So you can put a man when you know in foot for in hand. I'm sorry for Jamaica. Jamaica, Adam said one time in Tivoli, guys, and Jamaica will pay dearly. Now me I say it. This position, Jamaica will pay dearly, Mr. Blake. And you will be blamed. Because guess what? The politician, him not going to take blame. You are going to get it. We know what them instruct you if you put Stuart there, but you are going to get the blame. Understand that. I don't talk.